Some dare call it conspiracy.
I guess we can start here and say, welcome to Some Dare Call It Conspiracy. I am your host, Brent Lee, and I'm
Neil Sanders. Oh, shit, we fucked it up. Well, that's good.
It's been a little while.
God, we are professionals, consummate professionals. That's what everyone always says about me. And yeah, hey ho. How you been, Brent? You all right?
I'm okay, man. I'm here. I've had a little bit of a break, and Neil decided he wanted to drag me back into it.
Well, I took an opposite route. I threw my back out over Christmas, so couldn't really do anything. So was sort of trapped in front of the internet with very little to do, just consuming idiocy on Twitter. And it's safe to say that some shit happened. Like, I think that's the best way of it. But this leaves us with a sort of an opportunity because, as I say, like Brent has missed out on everything and I've had everything crammed down my throat. I don't think it's fair that I should just absorb all of this. So Brent's going to catch some of it, and he's going to catch the debris, I'm afraid. So,
or as I labeled this email linked to you, Neil trauma dumps on Brent Lee.
Now, here's the thing. I think actually you're going to be quite. Some of it's going to be good. Some of it's going to be. I think it's going to be more surprising than traumatic. Although I suppose the fact that a lot of this sort of stuff is happening is potentially traumatic, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on, basically. But the long and short of it, Brent, right, okay, is that there's a bit of a schism in the right wing. Like, as anybody that's been paying attention over recent election cycles and whatnot, there's been a lot of, sort of dog whistles, sort of white supremacy, fear of immigrants, racism and stuff like that. They're used by a lot of people to get more prominence, often quite overtly, often quite subtly. Now, basically, yeah, but what we're seeing now is that basically, here's the thing, like, some of the more hardcore followers are starting to feel a little bit cheated, that they are basically being compromised. You see, there is a problem. You can be overtly racist, or you can appeal to a broader demographic by couching racist ideas with things like, oh, we're just concerned about economic things and we're concerned about immigration. It's like, okay, whatever. But some don't want that. This is the point. Some people want to be overtly racist, and it's an interesting time. Basically, it's always fun when shits start to eat themselves. So we'll have a gander at a few things that have been going on. As I say, like this all started just before Christmas. It's going to take a few twists and turns and stuff. So we start off with a gentle one, really. On the 16th of December, the comedian Mark Dolan was understood to have had his contract terminated with GB News. Hooray! So Dolan, if people know, he used to present Balls of Steel, and then he's had a few sort of self-titled shows, including Mark Dolan Live. But he appeared on Twitter in no way bitter, and said that GB News have made the decision to permanently relieve me of my duties at the channel. I will speak publicly about this in due course. And now, basically, he's got a YouTube channel. So he's basically done what Dan Wootton and Lawrence Fox did. Some things happened where they've pushed it a bit too far, because essentially there was an Ofcom investigation into GB News at the time, suggesting that essentially they were incredibly Islamophobic. Now, I don't think that this is exactly connected to Dolan, but they're trying to sort of alter the sort of image of the channel. They're trying to get a bit more sort of professional, and it's just not working because that's not what their followers or fans want.
So they're trying to clean up or polish their image a bit, are they?
Yeah, potentially. This is it. They're trying to, I mean, part of it is because people like Mark Steyn and Dan Wootton and Lawrence Fox got them hugely fined by Ofcom. And partly it's because basically they're getting to a point where if you want to pretend that you're not just a sort of propaganda outlet, you need to start acting professionally. And they're not doing that, or haven't been doing that.
Have they never heard the adage that you cannot polish a turd?
Apparently not. And, they've got their tins of Brasso out and they're scrubbing away. and by all accounts, making a right old mess of everything. Basically, apparently, GB News broadcasts half of all UK stories about Muslims in what a damning new report has called an obsession. The analysis conducted by the Centre for Media Monitoring suggests that the channel mentioned Islam or Muslims over 17,000 times over a 2-year period, with a predominantly negative slant. The coverage accounted for over 50% of mentions of Muslims on broadcast media, with BBC News and Sky News accounting for 32% and 21% respectively. Islamophobia had been mentioned 1,180 times by the channel, when the main purpose being to discredit the concept as a whole. During the UK riots this summer, GB News accounted for 62% of clips shared, with Muslims being portrayed as the perpetrators of violence, when in fact they were the victims. In the report titled GB News, a snapshot of anti-Muslim hate, it was warned that the network's reporting risks inciting violence and discrimination against Muslim communities. The report concludes that the channel rarely features Muslim perspectives, often fails to challenge Islamophobic remarks, and portrays Muslims as a Trojan horse, seeking to undermine British values, and it urged Ofcom to do its job and regulate the channel. GB News have denied the claims and have called the findings highly defamatory, alleging that they were not approached for comment ahead of this publication. They said, "This inaccurate and defamatory report is nothing more than cynical, self-serving attempt to silence free speech." Of course. Anyway, so Mark Dolan got given the side, and people weren't particularly kind to him. You see, they remembered that he'd not stuck up for Dan Wootton, and he hadn't stuck up for Lawrence Fox, had he?
Ooh.
And he hadn't stuck up for Calvin Robinson. And so Dan Wootton took some shots at him.
Shots fired. Nice.
Shots fired, exactly. He said, "This is a horrible thing to do before Christmas. What is this about? Is it to save money? Is it to get rid of presenters who challenge the narrative? Or is there something else afoot? I'm not someone that likes to dance on someone else's grave, but it's only fair to me to present both sides of the picture. And people are saying that this is what happens when you give in to management and you become their bitch and you're prepared to throw your colleagues under the bus."
Whoa.
Yeah, so good times basically. And
Okay, it's getting juicy already.
Well, this is the thing, there's going to be quite a lot of infighting, and I think you're going to be surprised at some of the ways that this goes. Also on that day, the 16th of December, the House Ethics Committee report on Matt Gaetz, who was Trump's initial nomination for Attorney General, came out. In it, it was discovered that the congressman regularly paid women for engaging in sexual activity and had sex with a 17-year-old girl. He used and possessed illegal drugs, accepted gifts beyond the House limits, and helped a young woman obtain a passport. House investigators said that Gaetz paid more than $90,000 to women for sex and drugs. He allegedly used his friend Joel Greenberg, currently serving 11 years in prison for crimes that he said he committed with Gaetz, which were trafficking young girls for sex and buying drugs off of them, as a go-between to hook him up with girls. He bought cocaine, MDMA, and marijuana from the girls as young as 17 and gave them payments over the Venmo Cash App, which he described as tuition fees. That's the man that Donald Trump was going to have as Attorney General.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, so, I'm not surprised about the Gaetz stuff, because there had been reports and rumors for quite a while about this 17-year-old girl and trafficking her across the states. Obviously not like human trafficking, but the thing that we've always talked about, like you bring someone across the state border like underage
for sex is considered trafficking. The band The Antwoord trafficked a girl to that Jani girl. She was underage, and because they paid for her to go to South Africa and had sex with her,
but not in a Taken style kind of.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
That like the conspiracists kind of act like that's what it's all about. But. Like I said, I'm not really that surprised about that thing. I am very surprised, though, that he about the drugs and 70,000. Did you say
$90,000, £71,000?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I mean, shout out to the sex workers. Like sex workers
Absolutely.
Work, so think good for you guys for getting the money.
Yeah, but like it's bizarre because,
Wow.
well, particularly when, the current administration is so very, very conservative in its outlook.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, it's
Like if
just,
this was a rock star doing that, we wouldn't really care. And
No.
we just, besides the 17-year-old thing, like if like that's the bad thing, right? If it was,
and the reason
if
he
it was a
hasn't
rock star or someone, we'd be like, yeah, cool, whatever, because they'd be admitting it.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be going against their character. There's nothing wrong with if you want to do MDMA and cocaine and weed and pay for sex, you do it. The problem is that this was a person at 89 doing that, and B was supposed to be the Attorney General, so you're supposed to be somewhat cleaner than clean. Like the reason that he's not been charged with any of this is due to statute of limitations, apparently. Like, because essentially in Florida, having sex with a 17-year-old girl is statutory rape. But because of the time since the incident happened, he can't be pursued for any criminal action. Essentially, like nothing there was no evidence to. It's obvious what he's done, but he's basically kind of loopholed it. His friend Joel Greenberg is in prison for doing pretty much the same thing, but less carefully. It would appear, allegedly, for legal reasons.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, quiet few days. Then on the 20th of December, Elon Musk reposts Naomi Sebt. I can't remember, don't know, and I don't care about her enough to look into how to pronounce the name. That Naomi Sebt, the Heartlands Institute anti-Greta, the white nationalist who was influenced by Stefan Molyneux and believes in QAnon. Yeah, dreadful little thing. Elon Musk reposted a tweet that she posted with the quote above it directly from Elon: "Only the AfD can save Germany."
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, for people that don't know, the AfD is a far right organization, a political organization, overtly far right, although they are trying to cultivate some imagery that suggests otherwise at the moment, with the help of Elon Musk, because we will find out as we go through this. But yeah, that's pretty bad. Like, this is a very, very influential person putting his weight behind a German far right organization. Like, there's elements of Henry Ford, maybe. And stuff like that.
Am I surprised? Really? I mean, he retweets Peter Sweden all the time. Like, he does retweet like out and out Nazis. So why not support a Nazi party?
That might be a bit of a theme that goes through this. But this Elon Musk has become more and more right wing and more reactionary with his right wing views, more and more nativist, which is very, very strange because technically, according to his brother and according to some evidence that is there, Elon's actually an illegal immigrant in the United States.
Yep.
Like, and also basically, like, for all of his sort of pandering to this, immigrants coming over here taking our jobs and blah 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 blah, he takes incredible amounts of subsidies from the government, like huge amounts of subsidies from the government. He's
SpaceX and Tesla wouldn't really exist without it.
No, not even slightly. Like, so this is.
I mean, his purchase of Twitter wouldn't exist without like the Saudi government.
No, and so this is the thing that's very, very strange, is that basically, like, Elon, we've seen this prior to December, Elon has stepped into the anti-immigration argument, particularly saying the sort of things that the right-wingers and far-right-wingers want to agree with. He went down to the border, didn't he? And he made all that fuss about, like, we need to close the border, and we wore that stupid fucking cowboy hat and, like, looked a dickhead. Like, and so the next thing that happens is slightly unusual. You see, on the 22nd of December, venture capitalist Sriram Krishnan was basically appointed to serve as the incoming Trump administration's senior policy advisor for artificial intelligence. Sriram Krishnan is a man of Indian origin. I think he's Indian American. However, Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes start kicking the fuck off, like really, really going for it. Laura Loomer in particular, and these are both nasty right-wing bastards, basically. Laura Loomer has been connected with the InfoWars and all sorts of stuff. We'll find out a little bit more about her in a bit, but she began fuming at the growing influence of tech bros in Trump's orbit who harbor comparatively lax views on immigration. From there, a rift opened in the MAGA base over what's called the H-1B visa system. Now, the H-1B visa system is supposedly a visa system that allows highly skilled foreign workers into the country. If they've got like a particular skill, or if an American company cannot fill that role with an American, this is one way to get into it. My ex moved to California, and she got a job at a firm to basically ensure that she got a green card. It's one of those things. However, it's a real bone of contention within the MAGA lot, because basically, previously, Trump has spoken out against it. He said that it's used to bring in low skilled workers, and through it you can pay people a lot less. Even the high skilled jobs, you can actually pay people a lot less. So the argument being made is that all of a sudden tech bros, they want cheap labor for their workers and whatnot. So this is what Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes are cross about. But her comments provoked a riposte from Musk. He said, "There is a permanent shortage of excellent engineering talent. It's the fundamental limiting factor in Silicon Valley." And in a later post, he wrote, it comes down to this: do you want America to win, or do you want America to lose? If you force the world's best talent to play for the other side, America will lose. End of story. And Loomer responded by calling the Department of Government Efficiency, which is the department that's being run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, a vanity project. Musk was not happy. Anyway, he got into a row. He said he was talking about the H-1B visa, and people were saying, no, we need less people here. We want less immigration. That's what Trump campaigned on. And on Twitter, Musk said, no, we need more like double that number yesterday. The number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the USA is far too low. Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they come from. And a man responded to Elon. This person is just a guy on Twitter, DRG, with the DRG was his name, and he said, "My son graduated with honours with electrical and computer engineering degrees in 2023, and he cannot get an interview, let alone a job. Any white male he knew in college can't get jobs either. Many are currently working in data center jobs that don't require any education." So Elon Musk obviously is a free speech champion, and this is the debate. Do we want to bring in talent from abroad, or is that just a way for tech bros to get equivalent talent and pay them less than American workers, which would go against everything in the principle of American first? So what do you think Elon Musk did, to respond?
Oh, I feel like he's going to burn the bridges.
Yeah, he nuked that account.
Whoa.
He wiped that man's account from the
Really?
internet. Yes, really. This was just some guy. This was just some guy that came up with a very, very reasonable, deferential, still a big fan of Musk, but saying, look, my son, he does what you want. Like, you would think that Musk would turn around and go, send his CV to me or something like that. He didn't even engage with him. He deleted the man's account to try and wipe all evidence of it from the internet. As we know, that's not how the internet works. And several people caught the screen grab, which is how I've been able to read it to you. But yeah, that's incredible. He deleted the man's account.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and it was I'm a bit shocked as well, because I thought like maybe he would lean into the anti-DEI kind of argument with the way that man had phrased his tweet.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, if he had any sense about him, Elon could have got something like, wow, that's something that I'd not thought of. I'll look into that. And then never look into it. But do you know what I mean? Give lip service to the idea. But no, Elon, not brilliant at social interaction, decided to say delete the man's account. So interesting. Anyway, Christmas Day came round, and Donald Trump had a message for everybody because
It wasn't buy my Trump Christmas cards.
would that it was so. I'll just read it. Remember, this is Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to all, including to the wonderful soldiers of China, who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal, where we lost 38,000 people in its building 110 years ago, always making certain that the United States puts in billions of dollars in repair money, but will have absolutely nothing to say about anything. Also to Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high. But if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would be militarily protected like no other country anywhere in the world. Likewise, to the people of Greenland, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes, and who want the USA to be there, and we will. So, on Christmas Day, Donald Trump said that he wants to essentially annex the Panama Canal, Greenland, and Canada.
Wow, that was unlike any of the Queen's speeches on Christmas Day.
It makes the annus horribilis look, tame
Wow.
in comparison.
He went for it.
He really did go for it. Now,
talk about a season of goodwill.
Well, quite. Now, we used to be well into conspiracies and stuff like that. Can you remember what the plot of Endgame by Alex Jones was?
No, I can't actually.
Right. Okay. So it was all about the combining of the USA, Canada, and Mexico to make the North American Union.
Yeah.
It had the road that was going off about it. And just so to people listening, the idea was first you combine America as the North American Union. We've already got the European Union. We would then have the Australasian Union and the African Union. And this would be the first step towards a new world order, because essentially you've then got 5 trading blocks or whatever, which could be combined into one. That was what Alex Jones went on about for years.
Yeah.
Years and years and years. Right. Okay. But to show how few fucking principles Alex Jones has and how little integrity he has, because he's sucking up to billionaires, on the 26th, on Boxing Day, Alex Jones tweeted in support of the idea that they should militarily annex Canada. Oh, not militarily yet, sorry. He said that Canadians should put it to a vote. If they vote to join the US, then Americans will have to vote on it as well. It takes 2 to tango. Now, some people, which
dumbass.
a lot of people don't.
Sorry.
But also that's like, that goes against absolutely everything that Alex Jones has spoke about for the last, like, what he's talked about is rich billionaire elitists combining to create a technocracy where they will reduce the world to states. It's Elon Musk has literally just suggested this.
I know.
and Alex, because he's such a fucking lickspittle and such a fucking wanker, right? Also because basically he's losing all his revenue. He's making most of his money through Twitter, through the falsifying how many people are watching the accounts and stuff like that. He's getting money off Elon. Apparently, Elon stepped into this. Elon's allowing his lawyers to represent Alex for a part of this bankruptcy thing with the Onion. You know how the Onion newspaper bought InfoWars. So Elon apparently has.
I'm pretty sure that there was a judge that said that it wasn't going to go through or something.
It hasn't
that's
gone
one of
through.
The last things I saw.
Well, yeah. That what happened was the Onion put in a bid, but they some of the money was theoretical because they said, well, you owe the families like however many millions of dollars, so we'll take some of that as like a sort of collateral, and we'll add it onto our thing. So, and the whole thing went, I think it was like 3 million. I think it was a very, very small amount that the thing went for. They contested it essentially, and so it's gone back to the auction stage to see what will happen next. And it's not entirely clear what will happen, basically. But what had happened was that Steve Bannon and Roger Stone had clubbed some money together. Apparently, it would appear that might not be exactly accurate, but they were the consortium that were trying to buy it for Alex, and they got outbid. So,
right.
But then the judges sent it back and said that he thinks that it's not fair. Who knows? We'll see what happens, basically. After Alex Jones has completely sold out his principles, Christmas has come and gone. Elon Musk has made his stumped up for the anti-immigration AFD, whilst also saying that we need more immigration into America, thus upsetting quite a lot of his fans and also a lot of the right-wing lunatics. Vivek Ramaswamy decides that the best thing to do is to release this statement. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for far too long. At least since the 90s, and likely longer. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Here we go. This next line is genius. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screet in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers.
It's kind of reminded me of you. Like all your references are always like, TV shows or movies pop culture
reference coming. It's brilliant, isn't it? Anyway, it goes on. Fact: I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons.
Sleepovers?
Absolutely. It's a degradation to the nation. Fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling with the G removed, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raise their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our arses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. I'm confident that we can do it. Yeah. So, Vivek Ramaswamy stepped into the immigration debate by saying, you don't understand. We need foreigners here because you're all so awful. But it's not your fault that you're awful.
Yeah,
it's American culture's fault that you're awful.
Wow, I guess he doesn't want to. God bless the USA. Like those are all like the things that are like, yeah, America.
Wow. Well, he's literally just
wow.
That's the Trump base that he's basically had to go at. Like, it's ridiculous. It's incredible. Like, I did tell you, man. Like, and we've only just started. So one user wrote on Twitter, so basically the right is split into two factions, tech right and right. And the tech right is like, hey, we need H-1B visa people to do the jobs. And the right was like, no, we need to hire Americans. And the tech right is like, but you guys are retarded. And the right is like, well, you don't train us. And the tech right is like, you can't out-train being retarded. And while all this was going on, we learned that some people really, really don't like Indians.
Oh my God! What's going on here? I think is the, like you said, the tech right. That's the libertarian right. The right is the conservative right.
Yeah,
so
very possibly.
So that's what it's kind of more like, because the libertarian will be more like kind of in that sense of capitalist, like, no, whatever's best for money.
Yeah.
But the right, conservative right is like, no, what's best for country? We're nationalists. We are racists.
Yeah.
If we don't want anyone else here, we want to train our own people because we that's what I'm seeing. Like the two factions that you're talking about here.
Yeah. That wasn't me. That wasn't
that.
Me using the R slur and blah, blah, blah. That was some guy on Twitter writing it, but nailing it, absolutely nailing it.
Yeah.
And this guy, I forget exactly his name, but he was a proper MAGA type. And so the reaction was essentially disbelief from Americans. Like you're right about that libertarian conservative. The problem with those terms is that basically, like, everyone uses them interchangeably. Alex Jones claims to be libertarian. It's like, well, you're clearly not, because you hate foreigners and gay people. Like, so, like crackers, basically. But so yes,
I'm talking in the true sense of the actual definitions. Yeah, totally.
Anyway, so that man basically said all those things about blah, blah, blah. And while all this was going on, we learned that some people really, really don't like Indians. And Elon Musk decided to step into the foray, and he responded by saying, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So Elon Musk has stuck up for Vivek Ramaswamy and said, yeah, the problem is that basically, like, he stuck up for Vivek. So,
wow,
these arguments.
I guess for Elon's defense, he isn't culturally American, is he?
No, he's not. And he's also trying to cultivate a relationship with the Indian government because he's trying to get Starlink set up there. And currently they're refusing it. Now, it's weird, isn't it, that what he's offered the Indian government is essentially access for loads of Indians to come to America. And I'm not saying that there's a quid pro quo going on there, but you'd be, you could certainly go, hang on, are those two things connected in any way, potentially? We can train loads of people in tech and stuff like that. They can bring those skills back to your country later. Okay, which might be an attractive offer to India. We're leveling up your workforce and whatnot. Of course, that would be lying to the American public, though, wouldn't it? Because that would mean that they're not bringing in the best people for the best reasons. They're doing it for commercial reasons. Now, personally, I want to make it absolutely clear. I give a shit about immigration. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not anti-immigrant by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I just think that it does sound like this is exploitative tactics, but the thing that I'm interested in is the complete lack of integrity and people just willing to go back on previously stated beliefs, basically. So, obviously, these arguments were met with sort of fierce backlash from MAGA exponents led by Laura Loomer, who delved into somewhat racist arguments. She said...
That's typical of her.
Well, yeah. She said that Vivek Ramaswamy knows that the Great Replacement theory is real. It's not racist against Indians to want original MAGA policies that I voted for. I voted for a reduction in H-1B visas, not an extension. The tech billionaires don't get to just walk inside Mar-a-Lago, stroke their massive checkbooks, and rewrite our immigration policy so that they can have unlimited slave laborers from India and China who will never assimilate. You don't even know what the MAGA immigration policy is. And that was to Vivek Ramaswamy. And obviously she's invoking the racist and fake Great Replacement theory there. So that's interesting, from the out. Anyway, She then decided that it was better to just, attack Elon Musk. And she said, remember when you voted for Biden and you propped up Governor Ron DeSantis and you said that Trump was too old? We all know you only donated your money so you could influence immigration policy and protect your buddy Xi Jinping. He's a stage, she said, she described Elon Musk as, he's a stage 5 clinger who has overstayed his welcome at Mar-a-Lago in an effort to become Trump's side piece and be the point man for all his accomplices in big tech to slither into Mar-a-Lago. And Elon responded by quote tweeting that and saying that Laura Loomer is trolling for attention. Just ignore her.
That's what I was thinking when you said she decided to go to Elon and talk about him. She got a better response from him last time, so she's trying for the clout.
Well, I mean, this is the thing.
But he fed into it.
Yeah, because they're all incredibly self-serving and they have incredibly fragile egos. I don't know if any of them believe anything that they say. Like, I think they do up until a point, but the second that basically is a better offer for themselves comes along, like with Alex Jones, like with Elon Musk, like as you say, Laura Loomer, she probably is genuinely angry about the visa thing, but she also sees this as a brilliant way to promote herself and to make some money off the back of it. And she needs it because basically she'd recently been working with the Trump presidential campaign, but she was mysteriously let go just before the election. Now, Milo Yiannopoulos had an explanation for this. Now, Milo is a known liar, so we don't know. But basically, he claimed on Twitter that the reason that she got fired was because she gave Trump a blowjob on Air Force One, on his private plane, and then told everyone and anyone about it. Which somewhat got him in trouble. She decided she was friends with Milo, and then she decided to confront him at a party where he was clearly off his tits on something and accused him on camera of being a methamphetamine addict.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all on Boxing Day. Also on Boxing Day, Nick Fuentes, he decided that he'd, put his 2 pence in, and he said, "I don't really care about the economy that much. I just don't want to live in a country that looks like India."
Of course, that's what he would fucking say.
Exactly, but this is the point. This is the thing that they've been trying to pretend that, no, this isn't what we're about. This isn't what we're about. Well, it clearly is what you're about, or it clearly is what other people thought that you're about. He continued, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but the latest push for H-1B visas actually has nothing to do with jocks and nerds or the high school prom. It's about whether we want 500 million Indians to move here." Now, Nick is a very, very unpleasant person, right? Okay. Now, he'd recently...
very, very unpleasant.
Were you online when he got doxxed?
Yeah.
Well, see, what happened with that was basically, I think it was when Trump won the election, and he put out a tweet designed to antagonize people saying, "Women, your body, my choice," which is obviously a reference to reduction in sort of abortion laws and that type of sexual health practices. So somebody, and nobody knows who, decided, well, fuck Nick Fuentes, and they posted his address and a picture of his house on the internet. And so people started turning up at his house.
Didn't they say, "Your body, my choice"?
Yes, your house, my choice. Now people started turning up, and nobody. I don't think anybody went to the house except one lady who was in her 50s walked up the steps. There's a porch, like a stoop in front. She walked up, and before she could even ring the doorbell, Nick opened the door, maced her, and kicked her in the chest.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now she's pressed charges. Yeah, absolutely. And she's pressed charges, and the case is ongoing. What was interesting is that during his arrest, and this was all captured on body cam, Nick claims...
I was hoping you were going to say live stream.
well, the original assault was because she was live streaming.
Oh, God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Anyway, during his arrest, Nick Fuentes claimed that he's not a white supremacist because he was born in Mexico. Which is true. He was born in Mexico. He's a Mexican. He's half Mexican, or at least half Mexican. But But yeah, it just again shows that when confronted, they don't have any sort of principles around their beliefs or ideologies. They're worms. Now, later, it did take a slightly more sinister turn. A man who had guns, a crossbow, and several explosive devices, who had previously killed one man and 2 dogs, tried to gain access to Nick's front door and was shouting, "Yo, Nick."
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Now, Nick didn't answer the door. Nick was actually live streaming when this man was knocking on his front door. But didn't realize the sort of gravity of the situation until the following day when he checked the CCTV footage. That man gave up, went away, got into a shootout with the police, and was killed.
Damn,
isn't it?
What?
Isn't it? So
when was that? So when was this? Sorry.
When was that? That was just before Christmas.
Oh, all right.
So yeah,
wow.
Crazy. Yeah, and nobody believed him. This was the thing. People didn't believe Nick because it was like, fuck off. This guy didn't come to your house and try and kill you after killing someone else. And apparently he did. So, yeah, interesting times, isn't it? So Nick is apparently having to move to a secret location now. So, some might say Schadenfreude. Some might say karma. Some, might say, who cares? Fuck Nick Fuentes. He's a cunt. Opinions are divided. So, yeah, So anyway, Alex Jones decides that it's probably about time for him to get involved with this whole situation. And so he decides to tweet out in support of Elon Musk. It's classic American policy to brain drain the best from across the planet and bring them here. Musk has always advocated for this policy. That's not true. Everyone bitching that Elon Musk has flip-flopped or are either ignorant or lying. Elon, to a great extent, is the poster child for this program working, implying that Elon was taken there on a H-1B visa, which is not true. Okay. I mean, even if you ignore the illegality of it, that's not how it happened at all. He essentially bought his way into businesses, failed, and every time he was paid to fucking leave companies because he was shit, which is nice work if you can get it, essentially. Now, do you know what Alex did to invoke, to explain, or give another example of how importing foreign labor is actually really good for America? He said that Operation Paperclip was a great example of this. Operation Paperclip, where Nazi scientists were brought into NASA and various other organizations within the American government, which previously Alex has suggested was evidence of the globalists and the fact that actually there was a one world order. Alex went on InfoWars and said that Operation Paperclip was a good thing.
Okay, mind blown right now.
Yeah.
No. For how long has Operation Paperclip been the proof? The smoking gun of just, oh my God. It's always been painted as like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And he's just used it as a good reason for immigration that they're actually all against.
Yeah, because I assume that's the only example he could probably think of. And he's gone, we got the best rocket scientists and that's how we got to the moon.
Oh my God, I was not expecting. I was expecting some batshit from Alex, but
here's the crazy thing, right? Okay, to other people, that's not actually. It's not the best example, but it's not an entirely unreasonable example. We got Werner von Braun and various other people, and that was beneficial to the country.
Yes,
okay. Right, and also there is an argument that basically, if you hadn't got them, the Soviets would have got them. It's a bit more complicated than that. Okay,
absolutely.
But to Alex Jones, he's completely gone back on everything he believes in. Everything he believes in.
That is an absolute pivot.
Yeah,
it's an about face.
It's 100%, and Alex started to get loads and loads of shit online.
Yes,
because of course he did.
Because like the conspiracy crowd, man, like it does always surprise me, like how they like go back on things, or
and they'll somebody will say something that, hang on, this contradicts everything that you said before. And it's like, yeah, but let him do it or whatever and stuff like that. Even the introduction of people like Trump and promotion of Bitcoin and things like that. The whole point of those things, those were railed against by conspiracy crowds like years ago. Technocrats,
cash is king.
Oligarchs, cash is king. Exactly. But all of a sudden, if somebody's got a benefit from it, then one of the recent ones, like this isn't included in this presentation, but people have started smoking because nicotine kills nanotech, and obviously the recent fog that we had was simply loaded with nanotech. And the only way to stop this nanotech from harming you internally is to smoke heavily if possible.
Which harms you internally.
I mean, there's swings and roundabouts in this equation, absolutely.
But there is one industry that makes a lot of money from that.
Oh, I've not thought about it like that. That's weird. Anyway, on the 27th of December, which just happens to be my birthday.
Fuck, we're only on the 27th.
I know. Elon decides that it's probably best to be a mediator. He's clearly upset some people that he's probably going to rely on later. So he decided that the best thing to do was to be a diplomat and to go on Twitter and apologize and essentially reaffirm his loyalty to the American people. Oh, no, he didn't. He said this. He said, the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H1B. Take a big step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend.
Oh.
That is aimed at the MAGA crowd who are being critical of his stance and Vivek Ramaswamy's stance. He told them to step back and fuck yourself in the face. Now, some have pointed out that he's quoting Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder there, like the Tom Cruise character, but he's got the quote wrong. He's got it wrong. He's got the fucking But anyway. Regardless of whether he's quoting a fictional character on a film,
what's the correct way?
Was it to take a step back and literally fuck yourself in the face? I will go to war over this. I'm talking scorched earth, motherfucker. And then he hangs up the phone and turns around to his assistant and goes, "Find out who that was, please." He doesn't even care who he's talking to. So Les Grossman is far more impressive than Elon Musk. I'll put it that way. So. But yeah, Elon decided that was the best way. So then somebody, people are getting into this argument, and Scott Adams, who's the writer of Dilbert, he decides to quote tweet somebody that basically says, "Look, I'm an American Indian and was born here, and it's crystal clear that the Democratic Party sees me as American, and a large part of the base of the Republican Party does not. I hope Indian Americans remember this moment at the next election." So they're saying that basically, hang on, I thought we were part of the crowd. They're finding out, in the same way that gay people are going to find out that you were used, and Hispanics probably too. Anyway, so Scott Adams writes, MAGA is taking a page from the Democrats on how to lose elections whilst feeling good about themselves. And Elon Musk says, yes. And those contemptible fools must be removed from the Republican Party, root and stem. Musk isn't part of the government. He's not even an American fucking citizen. Okay. So you could see why some people might find that to be somewhat of an overstep. But it's all right, because he cleared it up. He said, the contemptible fools that I'm referring to are those in the Republican Party who are hateful, unrepentant racists. They will absolutely be the downfall of the Republican Party if they are not removed. This is a few days after he's promoted the AFD. So, a Twitter user called Hans C. Nelson wrote on the 27th of December, are people really dumb enough to think that they can convince Elon Musk, an immigrant to the United States who has generated untold wealth and national security advantage for our economy and nation out of thin air, that high-skilled immigration is bad for Americans? And Elon responds to this by saying, my tolerance for subtards is limited. So Elon Musk has just called the MAGA crowd subtards.
Oh my God.
After telling them to go and fuck themselves in the face, after agreeing with Vivek Ramaswamy that America breeds mediocrity.
Wow. I mean, he's got the vote. He didn't care.
Well, this is the point.
Trump's got the vote, should I say? But he bought the vote for Trump. He doesn't care. He's like, well, screw you. We've passed the finish line. It doesn't matter. We can do whatever we want for the next 4 years.
Now, Laura Loomer then responded with quite a clever post. Essentially, this has been wiped from the internet, so I couldn't find it, but I can remember the gist of it. She pointed out that Tesla had hired several people over using H-1B visas over the past few years, and barely any of them were high-paid jobs. There were things like cleaners and people that worked in cafeterias and things like that, which goes totally against his explanation as for why they wanted that particular type of immigration. I'll repeat again, I don't give a shit. Great, bring more immigrants in. It makes the country more interesting. I don't care. It's not about that. In 2024, it was discovered that Tesla laid off 6,000 workers in the United States and employed 1,300 H-1B workers. Now, it's not suggested that they replaced those jobs, but those are the sorts of statistics that if you were a MAGA guy, like, you'd be pissed off with, wouldn't you? Like MAGA guy, like, I don't know, Steve Bannon, who on the same day said on his show, this whole thing is about, they're geniuses. H-1B visas, that's not what it's about. It's about taking American jobs and bringing over essentially what have become indentured servants at lower wages. This thing is a scam by the oligarchs in Silicon Valley to basically take jobs from American citizens and give them to what have become indentured servants from foreign countries and pay them less. It's very simple. And at this point, Elon Musk responded by suspending accounts of dozens and dozens of followers of Nick Fuentes, taking the blue ticks away from Laura Loomer, Myron Gaines, dozens of Groyper accounts, Conservative OG, Owen Schroyer of InfoWars, and Ryan Fournier of Students for Trump. So he just wiped a load of accounts that were critical for him, and then reduced the reach of certain others, including Owen Schroyer, who said on Twitter, "I don't get this. I've just lost my verification. I was told that my account is under review." Alex Jones stayed quiet.
Oh.
Alex Jones was on holiday. So Alex Jones had nothing to say about his employee, Owen Schroyer, having his blue tick taken away from him because of his opposition to Elon Musk's position about H-1B visas.
Interesting.
It's crazy. Laura Loomer tweeted, Elon Musk has removed my blue check mark on X because I dared to question his support for H-1B visas, the replacement of American tech workers with Indian immigrants, and questioned his relationship with China. Elon has decided to retaliate by removing my blue check and demonetizing me. And on the same day, Greg Reese, who's been working with InfoWars for years, quit. He said on Twitter, I've quit my job at InfoWars. The Reese report is now supported by subscribers on Substack. If you'd like to support my work, subscribe at gregreese.com. Greg Reese is a Holocaust denier, but he's a good friend of Alex Jones's and has worked there for years. Greg Reese had principles. I don't agree with his principles. I think he's a monster. But he could not work at InfoWars anymore because he spotted what we've both spotted, that Alex Jones went completely back on everything that he's spoken about for years and years and years in order to cozy up with a billionaire elite.
Yeah. Well, you saw through the facade then, finally.
It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, it's really, really crazy. So, we've not heard from Trump for a few days, and some people might be saying, like, well, yeah, why is this H-1B thing even an issue? Like, where's anybody even heard of this? Why is it, lots of political issues. Why has this been brought to the forefront? Well, in 2016, this was one thing that Trump campaigned on. He said in 2016, during the primary debate, so before he was even the candidate, the H-1B visa he described as very bad and unfair for US workers. He said, first of all, I think I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that frankly I use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use it. We shouldn't have it. Second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman and I have to do what I have to do. So in 2016, what Trump was doing there was saying that, look, we can exploit this to bring in cheap labor. And as a businessman, everybody does that. Okay. But that is bad for American workers and unfair. And so in 2016 and during his first term, he was apparently opposed to this system. However, on the 28th of December, 2024, he tweeted or put it on True Social. No, he said it live, actually. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer in H-1B. I have used it many times. It's a great program. So this was obviously seen by his base as a complete betrayal and a capitulation to Musk. And the hashtag President Musk started tweeting around. Lots of AI images of Trump kissing Elon's feet or kissing his ring as if he's the Pope, and Trump on a throne. Musk on a throne and Trump bowing down to him and stuff like that. And this also coincided with two stories. One, that Elon Musk has essentially moved himself into Mar-a-Lago, into a sort of cottage on the grounds, and another story that basically was really starting to get on Trump's tits. So it'll be interesting to see where these people go. And it's a very difficult position for Trump because Elon Musk is everything that not through any skill or anything, but he's everything that Trump claims to be. He's a billionaire. Trump is not a billionaire. Okay. He's ran successful businesses, not necessarily on his own, but Trump really hasn't. Trump has not been a great businessman by any stretch of the imagination. So you could see why there would be a clash of egos there. It's interesting. And so after Donald Trump and Elon Musk have both come out in favor of the H-1B visa system, Alex Jones decides that he loves the H-1B visa system. And he tweets on the 28th, I know that the H-1B visa system has been abused. That said, Trump and Elon have always supported a form of it. And people freaking out about the new administration's ongoing support of it are just drama queens. That said, I think it's reasonable for people to debate everything concerning this type of visa, including a complete moratorium on it, which is the most mealy-mouthed way of trying to sit on the fence whilst actually coming out in support of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, whilst lying about both Trump and Elon Musk's previous take on it and going completely against his own personal ideology, which has been the mainstay of his career for the last 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone's just doing like a turnaround.
Yeah. Now here's in sort of some the people might be
not everyone. Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes.
Now here's the thing, that's the strange thing. Someone else who basically was actually calling it out, but not to any degree that was particularly interesting. But just to be fair, David Icke was not happy with any of this and pointed out that hang on, what you hang on,
I've been talking.
So yeah. And it was interesting as well because you get some people who are just basically like, oh, David, you're a miserable old git, aren't you? And like, you're just jealous and you just want attention. And then some people who are slightly more nuanced would say, well, that's what you get. You cultivated these people for attention. And then other people were saying, actually, David, you're quite right. Because at least within that conspiracy world, he dallied with it. And then he realized that none of them wanted anything to do with him. So he went back to his original principles because, you know, if you don't like his principles, he's got others.
Yep.
Like I say, we remembered that time when Adrian Dittman phoned into to InfoWars and David Icke was on it. David Icke was wetting his fucking knickers because he thought he was speaking to Elon Musk. But then, you know,
that was fun.
They've been rejected to a degree. But anyway, so Elon Musk has come out very much in favor of H-1B visas and immigration of foreign people into America, which is odd because ironic, shall we say, because on that same day, the 28th of December, an article written by Elon Musk praising the AfD is released by the German publication Die Welt. And in it, he writes, Germany is at a critical juncture. Its future is teetering on the brink of economic and cultural collapse. The alternative for Germany is the last spark of hope for this country. He then complains about immigration and says a nation must preserve its core values and cultural heritage in order to remain strong and united. The AfD, even if it is described as far right, represents a political realism that resonates with many Germans who feel that their concerns are ignored by the establishment. I don't know about you, but my irony meter's fucked.
Yeah. Wasn't you just supporting like the opposite of
the very opposite
from what Vivek was saying?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? And you can understand.
And specifically, not even about. I'm not even talking about the immigration for work stuff right now. I'm talking about the cultural attack of a nation.
Well, he's both, because he says he complains about immigration, and he also points out that to preserve your cultural values and core values and cultural heritage, what he's implying is that you must resist immigration.
Yeah.
Told you. He also says that basically, he says the portrayal of the AfD as a right-wing extremist party is clearly false, considering that Alice Waddell, the chairman of the party, has a same-sex partner from Sri Lanka. Does that sound like Hitler to you? Yeah, because obviously being gay, being attracted to the same sex, prevents you from being bigoted in any other way. What a stupid thing to say.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. I mean, Ernst Rohn was gay. Yes, he was murdered by Hitler in the Night of the Long Knives, but it shows that it's at least possible. So Ernst Rohn led the SA, which was a precursor to the SS, prior to Hitler getting into power. So, but yeah, it's just a ridiculous thing. But yeah, the irony of we want immigration in this country and we don't want immigration in this country. And then the supreme irony from both sides is like, you're from a fucking third country.
What he's saying is with the German kind of thing, is we don't want immigration because it will ruin the culture of the nation there. But when in America, we do want immigration because we do want it to change the culture.
Because the culture is mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at the same time,
do you or don't you, Elon?
But it doesn't make sense either, because the other party, because that's essentially it's a white supremacist nativist argument. And so what he's saying is to improve the mediocrity. We have to inject another culture. It's not that, but that would be how MAGAs would see it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that's how immigration works at all. But yeah, isn't it crackers that he's hard anti here and he's hard pro when it and you know what the factor is that determines which way he blows is whether it's beneficial to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether or not he's going to get any clout off it or any
exactly.
extra...
Yeah. So, but just honestly, the contradictions. The AfD basically has been rocked by scandals in recent years. Like it's had association with neo-Nazi organisations and used neo-Nazi symbols. The chairman of the AfD parliamentary group in the Thuringian state parliament, Bjorn Hock, has been convicted twice for knowingly using Nazi slogans at rallies. And obviously in Germany, the laws are quite stringent about using those types of things. The party the AfD is classified as a suspected extremist organisation, and it has a youth wing, and that is basically tried to sort of jettison in its relationship to, because it's been labelled as an extremist group, essentially a domestic terror organisation by Germany's intelligence agencies. Alice Wedel's grandfather, Hans Wedel, was a Nazi judge who was appointed personally by Adolf Hitler. She was once called a Nazi slut on TV, and she tried to sue, but basically it was unsuccessful, potentially because of her political views. So, yeah. So, just, because nobody's got any integrity, on the 29th, Laura Loomer decides that she wants to play on Twitter again, and so she starts begging for forgiveness. But what's interesting as well is Harman Singh Kapoor, who is a Sikh man. And I found this out through I Am Mukhtar's Twitter. He's an excellent person to follow. Harman Singh Kapoor is a Sikh man, and he's an ally of Tommy Robinson. And basically what he does is he appears at these rallies and goes, look, I'm a foreigner, but I also hate Muslims. I'm not one of them, blah, blah, blah. But as vaguely being similar, I can give you the inside track. He's camouflaged for wankers, like, so many people, essentially.
Yeah. Is he the guy with the term?
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen him like plenty of times. He's like always on, he's even on Instagram and Twitter. And
yeah. But he's on it less now because he's been kicked out of the Tommy Robinson movement for saying that all Jat Sikhs are rapists and thieves. And a representative of Tommy Robinson gave this laughable explanation as to why he was kicked out of the party. We will not provide a platform to someone who egregiously tarnishes a whole community for the actions of perhaps a few. No need for a punchline there. Yeah, you can see how, again, like, it's almost as if, like, what fucking planet are we living on?
I said it before. I said it. I'll say it again. Wow.
So, anyway, Laura Loomer accidentally doxed Sriram Krishnan, who's the guy that was being brought in to oversee the AI department. What she was doing, she was just trying to get dirt on him, and she'd found that he'd previously donated to Kamala Harris, so she put that out there as a way to sort of like, attack his character. Unfortunately, she shared his address at the same time. And so she tweeted, I deeply apologize for accidentally doxing Sriram by sharing public FEC records with his personal information. It was an honest mistake, and I take full responsibility. I've removed the post, and I promise that I will be more careful in the future.
I do believe it was an accident.
Yeah, of course it was a fucking accident, right? Because she's just thick. But it's just it's just how weaselly and worm-like these people are, and just like they contort themselves.
Or not even thick, but acting from that emotional state instead of actually thinking logically before doing something. She's like, "Oh, I've got dirt. Let me spread it," and then going, "Oh,
yeah, all right,
shit, I should have looked at that whole thing."
I sent the whole email chain or whatever. Like,
that's what I think that kind of came down to.
Yeah, probably. But
when you're thinking from just emotions and not thinking logically, you are dumb. You're not thinking logically.
Well, this is certainly true. And she proves that point by going on the Eric Bolling show on the 30th. And Bolling says,
who?
I don't know. some internet guy that has Laura Loomer on. I've got no idea who this guy is. Like,
No, I've never heard of him.
No, I haven't. Like, and I thought it was boiling as well. To which I was like, why didn't he call it the boiling point? Like, but it's not. It's bolling. He still should have called it the bolling point. Maybe he did. Maybe that's where I've heard it. Actually, who knows? That's sometimes how my brain works. But anyway, so she goes on this show and she decides that they're going to talk about the ongoing problems with the H1B, and Bolling decides to open the gamut by basically. Bolling says, "Are you surprised that we haven't heard from any of these folks in Trump world right now? You know, Steve. These people are on Fox a lot. Stephen is a good friend of Stephen Miller. I think they're talking about Steve Bannon, and then Stephen Miller is obviously the advisor to the president. He used to come on my show every week or two or so, but I'm very close. I text them, and ominously, I haven't heard back. So I'm not sure where they are. Is it possible that they've been told to stand down and just let this play out? That might not be Steve Bannon, actually. Anyway, the point is that basically they're asking, like, you know, what the hell's going on with Trump and this H1B visa? And Loomer says, well, that's the problem. This is the problem when you allow for a billionaire to make a $200 million donation. And so maybe we really do need to have campaign finance regulations in this country. She's right.
Yep.
But she didn't give a shit about that when it worked to her advantage.
Yep.
Again, no integrity. Absolutely just no integrity. She goes, I mean, essentially, what is happening? And I love President Trump. And I'm not saying that President Trump is bought and paid for. But it sounds like people are scared of crossing the king of the world, Elon Musk, the monarchy. Okay? Nobody wants to cross this guy, the richest man in the world, who controls access to social media and the digital town square, and now basically has everyone in a codependent, abusive relationship, like a bunch of junkies, because he's been able to monetize the platform so that all the conservatives using his platform are essentially addicted. They're a bunch of addicts now, addicted to social media because their voices were silenced for so long. And it's like cutting a junkie off cold turkey. You're going to go crazy. You're going to have withdrawals. And he understands that. And he's created this codependent junkie versus supplier relationship where if you question or if you try and criticize Elon Musk, you will be demonetized. She's absolutely right.
Yeah, she's right, because she's actually telling the truth, because that's what she's going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. I mean, well, this is one of the rare occasions where actually she's telling the truth. I mean, she's telling the truth for the wrong reasons. Like, but she's telling the truth. Like, and yeah, she's opened up the fact that, and that's crazy, really, because like she's shown the magic trick, hasn't she? She's shown like how the cup has got a hole in it in the back and blah 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 blah. Yeah. And but what's interesting is as well is like all of these people, they're so willing to torture each other and drag each other down and stab each other in the back. And it's like, well, if I'm going down, I'm taking all of you bastards with me. And it's just, honestly, just shifting allegiances and just,
all to get closer to Trump. Well, Trump's just staying out of it, it seems.
Yeah, kind of. But or to try and garner his influence, or to be able to use his influence in ways that they want to or feel that they were promised to. And there's a degree of truth in all of that. Like, he used Laura Loomer, and then when she was no longer useful, which was surprisingly quickly, well, not surprising, but like, she was cast aside. Same with Steve Bannon previously, like, you know, in the previous campaign and whatnot.
This is what I'm thinking. This is what I thought. Like, leading up to the election, was like, all these people have jumped back on board with him. It's like he ditched you last time.
Roger Stone nearly went to prison because of him.
Yeah, like it is just so strange. Yeah,
it is bizarre. Possibly it's to do with just like, I don't know, just because they know he's corrupt and realise that they can probably make some sort of money out of it, or potentially stuff like pardoning of the J6s or whatnot. But I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. But it never made any sense to me why people like Boris Johnson either. An inveterate liar.
Yes.
With like a just a litany of examples of where he's betrayed people or shown that he's a very, very low moral fiber and poor character. And people were just like, yeah, but it's I like his fluffy hair and that, isn't it? Like, he's funny. And it's just stupid.
Same thing.
Right? Yeah, potentially, but I don't know. There's something
Love his fluffy hair.
There's something more sinister about the Trump thing. Like Tom McDonald has released a rap song with Roseanne. It's the worst thing that you'll ever see. But the whole...
It was bad enough when you said Tom McDonald released a rap song. And then you had to follow it up with Roseanne.
She takes a shot at Eminem. yeah.
But I feel a Patreon-only episode coming.
Well, the thing is, right, it's another one of those things like that fucking Hot Black Forgiato or whatever that twat's name is. I can never remember that bloke's name. Anyway, he's dreadful. It's obviously knocked out in about 5 minutes. And the whole thing about it is about how liberals and Democrats are mad and I'm going to have a bath in your tears. And no liberal or Democrat's ever going to see that or give a shit. I watched it and went, oh, this is poor. Like, and that was it. It's like the people who are buying it and playing it continuously and giving him money who are essentially being conned a MAGA crowd. Now they'll say it's a banging song. I love it. All right, good for you. Good on you. Bless your heart. Like that's fine. Like you have the taste.
What you enjoy.
Yeah, you have the taste of an infant, and not a particularly bright infant. But fine. But that's what I don't get about all this MAGA rap shit. It's like the only people that you're conning is like is the people that pay for it. And evidently a lot of people pay for it because, they keep doing it. But whatever. So, we're now on the 30th of December, and Laura Loomer goes on Steve Bannon's War Room podcast, and she says, what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry? Again, I hate to say this. You know how much it pains me to say this. She's kind of right. She's talking about Elon Musk and she's being quite sort of coy, but what she's implying, the dog whistle there, is that they don't like welfare queens is essentially a racist idea of poor black people just not wanting to do anything and just living it up and having a grand old time at the expense of everyone else's taxes. So she's saying that Elon Musk should be opposed to that, like all MAGA people, and he's only as good as them. So she's managed to get some racism there, which obviously isn't right. But the idea that Elon Musk takes a lot of subsidies whilst actually proclaiming that anybody that takes handout from the government is bad is absolutely correct. And again, it highlights the hypocrisy. Steve Bannon went even further, saying that sociopathic Musk and the other tech leaders owed the nation reparations for the jobs that they've stolen from Americans. And he said, we haven't fought these battles over years and years and years to allow American citizens of every race, ethnicity, religion be gutted by the sociopathic overlords in Silicon Valley. Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, we want it gone. We want reparations for the tech workers that you stole their lives. So, interesting. Then somebody else weighs into this, who I didn't actually know who they were, but the video was shared extensively by Nick Fuentes. This is some comedian called Sam Hyde. I'd never heard of him, and the guy's not funny. But apparently,
no, I don't think I've heard of him.
He self-identifies as a comedian, so entirely up to him. Yeah. Anyway, so he says in this video that's about 45 minutes long. I didn't bother to watch all of it. I skipped, and he's like, he's trying to look a bit like sort of. I think he's trying to look like William Friedkin. He's got like a dark jacket on and glasses, and he's in a sort of sat in a way that's like, and he comes across as lame. But he says, most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration, or, hey, that guy says some cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what I think? I like that guy. Now he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the colour of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. I think that truly was a mask-off moment when we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back. Fucking hell.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, so...
I guess he sees that thing about the attack on his culture thing.
Well, this is the thing, but the point being, obviously that's reprehensible, but the point being that this was shared by Nick Fuentes and a large number of people, because that is representative of the feelings of a large part of the MAGA crowd.
Exactly.
Now, the internet responded by reminding people that when Sam Hyde was 30, he had a girlfriend who was 16.
Typical.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. So we're now up to New Year's Eve. On the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, Elon Musk, who you remember has been in all sorts of debacles, backs and forths, causing all sorts of people to have all sorts of different views, decides, and I don't want anyone to think that in any way that Elon Musk was maybe trying to deflect away from his own problems and using something that he really didn't understand in a despicable, self-serving way that actually makes the problem much, much worse. Oh no, that's exactly what he was doing. He started tweeting about Muslim rape gangs in the UK.
Oh, what? Like Tommy Robinson stuff?
Yeah, that sort of stuff, basically. I mean, it gets very, very dark. But he starts getting most of his information from the Holocaust denier Peter Sweden. Also from Mario Norfall.
Foreshadowed that. I foreshadowed it. Didn't I foreshadow that?
Ian Miles Chong and Rupert Lowe, the Reform MP. Also sharing stuff from Tommy Robinson and former Prime Minister Liz Truss. Also, J.K. Rowling got involved. Now, what happened was, basically, what happened was some transcripts got released from the trials that were years ago. They were
and
horrific.
That's why J.K. Rowling got involved, because she heard the word trans.
Yes, exactly. And she was furious about it. Now, these transcripts are appalling. They're absolutely horrible. And some of the people are starting to come towards the end of their terms, because this was like about a decade ago. And so might be released. There's also actual sort of questions about some of the perpetrators were supposed to be deported. There's one particular man that he's denounced his Pakistani citizen, so he's like a sort of a non-citizen. So there are problems, and no one's going to pretend that at the time when all this happened that there weren't massive failures on the part of governments, police institutions, social care networks, even schools and stuff like that. Like there was horrible things that happened.
Yeah.
But this isn't the same. This is using that as a political tool. This is not giving a shit about what's going on. So from the 31st of December to the 7th of January, Elon Musk tweets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times every day. In that week, in that 7-day period, over a third of Elon's tweets were about grooming gangs.
I'm getting flashbacks of the riots earlier last year. You know, like him stepping in this territory in England again. Like, is this another attack on Keir? Is this a 2-tier Keir thing?
There's all of that. There's like
helping out Farage and Reform. I remember there being some rumors that he was going to possibly fund Reform or something.
There was some
before
now that
went off of here.
That goes in some directions that you will not expect.
Oh,
yeah. So
should we catch up all on that on part 2?
I suspect that's probably a good idea.